All right, guys. I'm sure many of you have been seeing all of these terrifying stories about these weather records that have been shattered. And I swear every day now I see a new one, right? I see a new one. So shout out to Yellow Dot Studios. I guess it's a nonprofit media studio from Adam McKay. And what they did is they compiled, for the week of June 22nd, they compiled all of like the extreme weather events that happened. And when you see them back to back to back to back to back, it really paints a devastating and terrifying picture. So here, let me show you this. I'll mute it because it's got some music with it. But anyway, week of June 22nd, 2024. This is Mecca, Spain. An entire summer's worth of rain in 20 minutes. Bro, it was storming Niagara Falls on their head in 20 minutes. This is insane. June 12th, it was 125 degrees Fahrenheit. The hottest June day ever recorded in Mexico in history. Okay? Here we have, I'm sure you all saw this, the flooding in Miami, Florida. There was horrible flooding in Miami, Florida. Jesus, I don't even know how much in terms of damages, how long it's going to take people to clean up. And by the way, a lot of these people who just got flooded again, they had just recovered from a previous flood. We all know Miami's in trouble when it comes to climate change and sea level rise. And I mean, I've been in places that are like, islands that are just off the coast of somewhere. Like I've been to those islands just off like North Carolina. And whenever it rains, like the shit just always floods. Now imagine a really big rain event for an extended period of time. It's so easy for everything to just flood. And that's why you have some regulations in some places where the houses kind of have to be up on stilts. Well, a lot of places don't have those stilts. They don't have the regulations. They happen to be in a flood zone, but like maybe just barely off the edge of where you're legally required to have, it built a certain way. And so many people just, and sometimes that stuff doesn't even matter because you flood anyway, right? That's what happened in Miami. All right, this one here is June 15th, another Mexican place that flooded. Soledad, Colombia, June 15th, same thing. There's the Ivory Coast flooding. There's a place in China that was flooding on June 16th, horrible flooding. Here we have New Mexico. 8,000 residents were ordered to evacuate from Ruidoso, New Mexico. They had wildfires there. They also had a haboob. You guys know what a haboob is? It's like a dust storm. They had one of those, and I think it was New Mexico and Arizona as well, like sort of close in line with the with a storm and with the wildfires. It's like day after tomorrow type stuff. Here we have in Sumatra, flooding, horrible flooding. In China, more horrible flooding. We got to talk about this one. As of June 20th, more than 1,000 people have died on the pilgrimage to Mecca because the temperature reached 125 degrees Fahrenheit in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. This was as of June 20th. I'm talking to you now a few days later. The last number I saw was over 1,300 people have died simply because of the excruciating heat in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. They couldn't get relief from it. They're just dying because it's too hot. We're at the point where a lot of places are very soon going to be uninhabitable. I've showed you guys that article a million times where they say by 2050 or by 2100, many Middle Eastern places will be completely and utterly uninhabitable because humans just can't live there anymore because it's too hot for humans to be there. I know India has been struggling, not only with the massive, endless heat, but also in some places, basically a water shortage. You see people like really fighting for a water, when a water truck comes, they're really fighting each other to try to get some of it because they're fucking dying without it, man. This is all here right now. This is here right now. And if you think it hasn't gotten worse, I got a fucking bridge to sell you, bro. I got a bridge to sell you. Oh, it's just the weather and it's hot in the summer and that's just what these are. Is it the world? It's a record for this warmest June on record. It's May was the same thing. You've all seen the graphs. You've all seen the charts. You've all seen like history. It's like this. And then within the past decade, it's like it just shoots straight up. We've all seen it. It's not fake. That's real. And there are massive consequences for that. Wars over water, famine, drought, flooding. You have more extremes all over the map as a result of climate change. And that's what we're currently witnessing. This was in France, flooding in France. 80% of the U.S. population is experiencing temperatures of 90 degrees Fahrenheit or higher this week. Yeah, there's a heat dome, as they called it, over the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. And everybody's just roasting, bro. World record heat for this June, the hottest June ever on record. An ominous sign, June is likely to once again break the global temperature record set last June. Yeah. I mean, again, every time the experts look at it, they're like, oh, it looks worse than the worst case scenario. Now, by the way, they said since, what do we have, a La Nina year? Was it La Nina or El Nino? We had one of them, and they said because of that, things were hotter, right? But the experts are expecting the temperature to actually get cooler next year. If it doesn't do that, we are so far gone beyond fucked. Like, we hit a point of exponential warming, and there's just, like, now it's the rapid phase, right? I don't think people have truly grasped and don't truly understand. Like, we've been the frog in boiling water this entire time, and now the fucking water is boiling, homie. Like, it's already too late type shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you want to talk about net zero. We should have been on net zero. We should have been totally transitioned to green and renewable technology and no fossil fuels and all that, and it should have been fucking 10 years ago, right? Anyway, there you have it. That's just some of the video, just from this week, bro. Just from this week. The extreme weather events. So, I'm sure you've all seen it. I'm sure you'll continue to see it, but this isn't anecdotal. This isn't like, a self-selection bias on my part or confirmation bias. We're simply just seeing more out-of-this-world type weather. And Lord help us, because we're certainly not moving fast enough to try to fight back against climate change. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.